Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfany. Appreciate you being here. And let me adjust my light just a little bit. The light was so dark, it looked like I was about to read a scary story or something like that. Anyway, appreciate you guys, everyone being here on this Sunday here. But the research never stops. The money making never stops. Not for me, it doesn't. I'm trying to make money 24 hours a day. If I wake up, I yawn in the dead of night, I'm trying to make some money. Let's make some money. Let me look at the charts. Let me see if there's an article out. Let me see if there's a new asset I can acquire. Maybe make a quick flip if that's what I want to do. Right now, I'm not making quick flips, but the research, the money making never stops. Let's get to the money. So we're here on beincrypto.com, BEIN. Crypto.com. They have a lot of good stuff over there. Make sure you give them some traffic. Check them out. It's always best to do the reading for yourself. Okay, you have to do your own research. Do this stuff for yourself so you can make your own decisions. I try to encourage that. DBS Bank chief favors regulating crypto. I thought this was an interesting take. I don't understand how this individual perceives that they're going to go about this and enforce it when you have the governments of the world making movements to regulate the crypto as we speak. I think we have Australia's trying to regulate crypto right now, trying to, come about some sort of clarity. So that's going to be interesting to watch over the next week or two. To see if they can come to a finality on what type of clarity they want to issue in Australia. Okay. You have the United States government. They're still trying to get everything together. There's so many different facets of the United States government. They're trying to get on one accord. They're taking a myriad of briefings. They're being briefed very often. So I give them credit that they're trying to learn, but we have to wait to see, what comes out of that, of course. But I'm not understanding how this individual figures that the central banks are going to do the regulations and then expect the governments to just obey. I mean, we're going to delve into this a little bit here, but I would say that if they were going to do that, and I would be all for that 100%, because listen, the Bank of International Settlements is bullish on crypto. The IMF, well, the IMF wants to control crypto a little bit more than the BIS. They're bullish on crypto, and the European Central Bank is in the middle. They're sort of neutral right now. They don't really know which direction they want to go. And they have a little bit of an internal power struggle going on. So I sort of understand why they're holding things off just a little bit. But keep in mind, Ripple has a member on their Digital Euro Association. That's big. That's huge. So even if they decide to become bullish, the ECB, there's going to be a lot of sway that Ripple has in that regulatory environment, I would think, right? And if Ripple has a lot of sway and they can make things positive for the bank coins, it's positive for every bank coin, okay? Not just XRP. XLM is very, very deep and respected in Europe. The oldest bank in Europe is using XLM. I know there's a lot of newcomers here. They've been telling me in the comment section, hey, I'm new here. The oldest bank in Europe is utilizing Stellar blockchain, XLM, and issuing stablecoins on Stellar. I don't think they've developed the CBDC around Stellar just yet, but look that up for yourself. That's always good information to have, so you can see that with your own eyes, okay? So XLM is in there. Algorand is definitely in there. They have the European Accelerator, okay? So Algorand is in there, and hopefully in the future HBAR will be in there. I think they definitely will. But let's take a look at this article here, and it says, regulating it out of the formal banking system is an unwise thing to do, as you wish to push it out into the unregulated space. You have no way of creating any guardrails, he said during the Global Business Summit sponsored by the Economic Times. Nobody knows who owns private money, so it is subject to misuse. Wow. That is one of the most negative takes I've ever heard on he's just talking about private money. It's subject to misuse. I mean, anybody can misuse anything that's in their personal acquirements. Like anybody can use. look, you can use things for the positive and the negative. It's just a matter of your perception, whether you want to highlight the negative or not. I mean, you can hand somebody a fork and one person's going to use the fork to eat that pasta. I could really go for some good pasta right now. Alfredo, preferably, but whatever. Somebody out there's like, I would, Alfie, you want to share some Alfredo? Anyway, let's get serious here for a minute. Yeah, someone's going to use the fork to eat pasta, and another person could be completely out of their mind and use the fork to stab someone. Okay, but that just shows that instruments of any kind can be used for the positive and negative. It doesn't matter what the type is. So yeah, you can misuse it, but you could also misuse a myriad of things, sort of like the banking system has been getting hacked. You want to address that? The banking system has been getting hacked constantly, and all of the a large amount of customer data is being stolen without the banks doing anything about it, and without the banks closing up those holes, and without the banks' knowledge. A lot of the time, by the time they catch what's going on, it's already too late, and individuals' information is on the dark web. Right? That's a fact. Okay, so even the banking system itself is being misused. So, I mean, I don't understand. This is all about control. That's all this is about. This individual saying this because, as we have seen, at least, I'll say this, at least the IMF is honest. At least the Bank of International Settlements is honest and transparent with the fact that they would love to control DeFi. They would love, this is why they have articles saying that DeFi is actually not decentralized, it's quite centralized. And they make a lot of good points too, as far as a lot of things. You can go read those documents yourself. Those documents are public, but at least they're open and honest about their longing to control the different systems, okay, and not be overtaken by those systems. But what you're saying here is just simply, I don't know how to really interpret this. So let's read it one more time. Regulating it out of the formal banking system is an unwise thing to do. Are you talking about governments? Because the governments are who is trying to regulate these things currently. As you wish to push it out into the unregulated space, you have no way of creating any guardrail. See, you want to protect yourself. It's not about really the individuals. Individuals know what they're using crypto for. They know the chance that they take when they're utilizing crypto. It's similar to knowing the risk of having cash on hand. There's people that are hiding cash in safes. Listen, there's risk with that, okay? So that's one degree of risk. You have people that are hoarding cash at their homes in boxes. People that have tons of cash in their wallet still. I wouldn't recommend that. But people are carrying cash in their wallet. They understand the risk. The people are not babies. How you make them out, how you portray them to be. Like they're these mindless babies. I can't speak for everyone, but I think the majority of people understand what they're doing when they take custody of cash, when they take custody of crypto, what you are calling private money. All right. And by private money, we have to extrapolate. When they're saying private money, you're talking about money that can't be tracked or traced, attached to your identities like cash. That's what they're talking about when they say private money. They don't like that. Listen, and it's not just crypto, okay? I want to make that clear. It's not just crypto. They don't like cash because of that very same reason. They don't like cash, okay? This is why they, for a long time, even though they drug their feet and the technology is absolutely horrible, they have had their legacy digital offerings for the longest time, right? Even though they're terrible. Those legacy systems are terrible with their digital offerings, okay? But they have had that for a long time in their attempts, whether it's from credit cards, whether it's systems like Zelle for the banks, they have tried for a long time to eradicate cash, to make sure that as little people as possible are using cash. Why? Because they like this idea of knowing everything, this control mechanism where they have all of this data, information on what you're spending, where it is. They can sell that data. They can use it in a myriad of ways. They know what to advertise to you. All of these different companies, not just the banks. They know how stable your money is going to be. I'm talking about in totality, by the way. There's some people that only use these digital legacy legacy offerings. They only use that. So in that, the banks know exactly how stable your funds are, how long they can loan your stuff out. They're using your money, by the way. The banks use your money to make money. So all of this data is good for them. And the more data that they have, the better. Crypto doesn't allow that. Even when they have CBDCs, one of the heated debates when it comes to CBDCs is the detachment of identity from the information. They don't like that. They want to know what's your name, and we want to know what's your name, where you live, And we want to know how you're spending this money. What products are you buying? Where's this money going? They want to know all of that. What Bank of International Settlements has been putting forth, and I respect them for this, at least considering it, is to keep that identity, your name, your address, separate from the information. So yeah, sure, they may know when you're using CBDC. They may know what products were bought, where this money is moving to regionally and stuff like that. But they won't know you did it. Beth and Tom, they won't know, Enrique spent this here. They won't know that. They just know somebody spent something at at Target, Walmart, whatever it's going to be, Gucci store, whatever it is. So that identity is separated. So it's about control. The more control you have as a financial giant, the more money you can make when it comes to the legacy system. But what they're not understanding, which, like I said, a lot of individuals have to be educated. But what they're not understanding is that more money can be made with the new financial system. So while you're holding up your shield and trying to protect the legacy system, you're cutting yourself off at the knees. If you listen to your superiors, and I say this with all humility, sir, but if you listen to your superiors at the Bank of International Settlements, at the IMF, at the European Central Bank, the World Bank, and AMFIF, and the Fed, they're telling you crypto is inevitable. Those central bank digital currencies, those digital currencies, using those liquidity tokens, using settlement tokens, it is inevitable, and you can't stop it because of how much money is at stake. They're going to conscript it. But I understand that the legacy system has a fear of that, even though they're being forced to congeal with the system. Don't make no mistake about it. They're being forced. They can't deny it. Because if they deny it and if they reject the reality of the situation, because they could not get control of it, they couldn't. They tried to hold it back, and even that failed, is failing, right? They failed because it's moving much faster than they would have anticipated and would have liked. But if you deny it outright, it will overtake you and you will lose your position of power. You will still have a lot of money. These institutions and these individuals who are associated with them, and they have generational wealth, no doubt about it. But you will be overtaken. Those non-banking financial entities don't need you anymore. I'm about to make a members only video. I just need a few more details, but it shows the direction things are going in. There was an institution that we actually covered recently that was unveiled by one of the foundations. They don't need banks whatsoever to do what they're about to do. And if they can succeed in what they're about to do, it's going to be massive. And who are they using? They're using blockchain. They're using one of the bank coin systems. And the type of volume that's going to be coming is going to make that price, theoretically, will make that price go kaboom. All right. So anyway, they don't need banks. This is what's startling to you, I believe, to a lot of people in the banking industry, is because you have certain non-banking financial entities or fintechs, right, that are coming out now. They're utilizing the blockchains, and what you feared at first were the foundations. So what the legacy system feared initially was Ripple, Stellar, Algorand, HBAR, right? And they came to you with open arms saying, hey, we're transparent. We want to work with you. We'd rather not take over. Although we could, but we'd like to work with you. They're coming here with their hand out, shaking hand, ready to make a partnership and a deal. But what's happening now, as you're seeing, a lot of other non-banking financial entities, a lot of other fintechs are coming up that are utilizing those blockchains, right? Because they're decentralized. Anybody can build on them. Haven't I been saying that? So what's happening now? They are cold-blooded. The new wave is cold-blooded. And what they're showing and saying is, we'll cut you out completely. I know you know this. If I know it, you know it. And so now, with that new wave being cold-blooded, they're coming purely from the business industry. See, you were dealing with the fintechs, you were dealing with the non-banking financial institutions. And so they are much more polite, kind, and willing to work with you, more understanding. Certain entities are starting to get involved that are coming completely from the business industry, and they are cutthroat. And you didn't think they would develop as rapidly as they have been developing and be as aggressive. But when they saw that money, they started building on XRP. They started building on XLM, on the Stellar blockchain or XRPL, whatever. It doesn't make a difference anymore whether they use the protocol or use stable coins. Whoa, Nelly. That congestion, that volume is going to trigger that surge pricing. Then there's talk of liquidity. So they're still going to have to use because there's a liquidity crisis. Oh, it's developing. There is a liquidity crisis on the horizon. If those of you who don't understand that there is a liquidity crisis, that is definitely possible, go do a Google search, Brave browser search, DuckDuckGo, whatever it is you use, Tor browser, do a search, liquidity crisis, possible liquidity crisis. You're going to see a bevy of articles. Give those a read. All right. So you're going to need liquidity tokens. And who are they? XRP instant on-demand liquidity. Sorry about that. XLM instant liquidity. They're going to need that liquidity. And this is why Stellar has been talking about increasing liquidity at an exponential pace, right? And we know Ripple has been doing breakneck pace at increasing their liquidity and ready to roll out their liquidity hub. You see how many articles they've been releasing as of late on the liquidity hub, even retweeting some just to put it out there to say, hey, it's coming. Be ready. Are you ready? That's exactly what they're doing. So you fear that. You fear that because now they a lot of these non-banking financial institutions, a lot of these new companies that are building on the blockchain and have these offerings that can replace SWIFT and definitely take a whole lot of business away from the banks because they're going to be offering accounts, rolling payroll out, doing a whole lot of things. That, by the way, is going to make those prices explode. You're doing the reading yourself. You see the numbers, right? You see what they're going to be doing. Do you see the corridors that they're building? Do you see the amount of money that could stand to move across these particular bank coins? You're seeing it yourself. You're witnessing it roll out yourself. And so now you have some companies moving in, building, that are ready. They don't care about coming to you kindly as a bank. They don't care about working with you. And that scares you a lot. Beautiful time to be alive. Beautiful time. Listen, compete then. If that's the case, acquiesce and compete just like your superiors are telling you to. And I said this to my subscribers a long time ago. I said there's a lot of rogue banks, commercial ones, by the way, a lot of rogue banks, and they want to do their own thing. They have their own ideas. They're not listening to reason of what the Bank of International Settlements is delivering to them. IMF telling them, hey, we need to work with these non-banking financial institutions. The Bank of International Settlements is saying this in so many PDFs, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. And they're telling you it's better for us to work with them. This is the only way we're going to stay a cut above the rest. This is the only way we're going to survive. This is the only way we're going to thrive. Work with them. Bring them in. Let them provide infrastructure. We don't want to do all of this work. It's mindless to attempt that at this time where banks are suffering. They're in trouble. They're in big trouble. But here you have the arrogance of certain bank heads, individuals who have been comfortable maybe for too long, but you should have been getting comfortable being uncomfortable. You should always be comfortable being uncomfortable when you're in the field of money. But you've gotten too comfortable. And so you are negating, or not negating, but you're not taking into account the wave that is being shown to you in every PDF document or every graph of the increased money that is accessible. That's another thing. You can't even access certain money. You're hemorrhaging money. You're loaning money out that you don't have. You're getting hacked every day. Your system's getting shut down. They're antiquated. I mean, what is it that you're not understanding about this? I don't know. But the great part is that we have the supervisory entities on our side. So in the end, you're going to feel that pressure. In the end, you're going to have to come to the middle, right? And participate. But let's continue on here, everyone. It says, nobody knows who owns private money, so it is subject to misuse, just like your banking system is subject to misuse and has been misused, correct? That is what the RBI governor is so concerned about. Oh, I just told my subscribers you're concerned, but thank you for confirming that. Is so concerned about. Monetary systems across the world have flagged off AML and KYC issues pertaining to crypto. The major exchanges have great KYC. As a matter of fact, they have you uploading your government ID, your driver's license, bank documents. So the major exchanges is not a problem. So what are you talking about? You're talking about DeFi? It's not run by anybody. I don't know. It's not run by anyone, right? I mean, it's open source and everything like that. People can build a ton of DeFi, decentralized exchanges, right? So I mean, I don't understand that. Coinbase has KYC, Binance, Uphold, I don't understand what you're talking about. So, but anyway, let's continue on here. Maybe I misread that and someone in the comment section can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always open to learn. That's how wisdom is gained. All right. So if I'm wrong, perfectly fine with that. I will learn. I will improve. I will become stronger and everything will be better because of it. All right. But let's continue on here. Gupta's suggestion came after the Monetary Authority of Singapore announced it is looking for Singapore, which class is in session. Here's a test. Pop quiz, everyone. Which bank coins are working with Singapore? Well, let's continue on here. Big news has been coming out of Singapore. Oh, they raise a toe. But let's continue on here. After the Monetary Authority of Singapore announced it is looking for ways to regulate cryptocurrencies and the city-state properly, of course, which has nothing to do with the bank coins. We're regulatory compliant. We're going to be loved. And that price is going to blow the socks off of people. Unbelievably. And I can't wait. But let's continue on. The DBS chief is also dismissed fears cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens or stable coins will supplant fiat money. You do know that that's a possibility. You do know it's a matter of a few key components, but this is why the Bank of International Settlements and all supervisory bodies are acting to work with the fintechs, acting to work with the non-banking financial institutions. There is a new wave on the rise. So a lot of the people of the world are full throttle on crypto. They like the power of having control over their own money. And so, yes, it could definitely be a threat to fiat money if you don't work with the NBFIs, if you don't work with the fintechs, because they can access, I say this again, they can access the money that you can't access, as well as access the money that you can. They can offer bank accounts that are way better than yours, instant finality, send money anywhere around the world, 2 to 3 seconds, unbelievably secure, and they're only going to get better. And the people are in charge of their money. And a lot of the money up to, let's say, $250,000 or something like that, $150,000 on some exchanges is insured. They can do everything better than you. So, of course, it's not just fiat. When I say fiat, I'm attaching that to the banking system because your lifeblood is fiat. Your lifeblood is fiat. So when you say that, I'm taking it the exact same way. Will supplant fiat? No. Let's delete that. Delete a few words out of there. Will supplant the banks. That's really, this is how I take it. Because you wouldn't be in control of that system. So it's not really fiat. None of this stuff is backed by anything, really. We're just agreeing upon values. Really, that's really all it is. Agreed upon values at this particular time. It's not like there's gold or silver or anything concrete that's backing all of this, any of it. So it's not fiat necessarily. It's all agreed upon value. So it's all make-believe money. But it's not fiat that really has to be concerned, or, it's the institutions who their blood is fiat. You commercial banks. You see, it's a little bit easier for the supervisory entities like the BIS, IMF, and ECB to sort of get on board with the idea of crypto. Why? Because they already were using SDRs. So SDRs is their own currency. It was their legacy system version of having their own agnostic world currency. It just didn't take off like they thought it would. All right. And if you guys want to know a little bit more about that, you could definitely you do a Google search. You have to do some work on your own. You got to get used to doing this research on your own. I can't give you everything, but go to Google and you search World Economic Forum and then one world currency. And you're going to get a couple of good articles. Give them a read. And you type World Economic Forum, one world currency, SDR, something like that. You get the history of the SDR and what the World Economic Forum was hoping that SDRs would be used for. Okay. They're like an antiquated old version of what Ripple is trying to do now, minus the on-demand liquidity and such, right? And security and stuff like that. I mean, but it's pretty secure. But yeah, so we're already using something in a similar way to what CBDCs are already are about to become. But commercial banks are not used to those particular systems, right? But let's continue on here. He told participants in one of the discussions, "I don't think that cryptocurrencies will become money as we know it, but it can be alternative to gold and is an alternative to gold and its value." Are you talking about Bitcoin? maybe you haven't been sitting in these briefings with Ripple, Stellar, Algorand. I'm going to assume that. There's no way you're talking about the bank coins. There is absolutely no way. And the bank coins were smart enough to get stable coins wrapped around their finger. All those beautiful stable coins. And then also, you didn't read the documents that just came. I'm going to assume, sir, you didn't read the documents that just came out of the IMF. We just covered those a few weeks back on the members only section, by the way. You don't understand how the International Monetary Fund and possibly the Bank of International Settlements wants to use stable coins? What? So you must not be privy to that. Let me read this part again, okay? I just need to wrap my mind around this for a moment. He told participants in one of the discussions, I don't think cryptocurrencies will become money as we know it. Stable coins are pegged 1-to-1, especially USDC, okay? USDC is 1-to-1. You put in your dollar, you have a dollar. They have the dollar. So now you have the IMF stating that they want to use stable coins in a particular way, that they could be used in a particular way. So what do you mean that, well, you don't think that they will become money as you know it? So, okay, so I get it. So you all have taken stable coins and separated it from crypto, right? In thinking, right? In thinking in your minds and such like that. Okay, let's just play that game. The stable coins are running across the blockchains, the bank coins. They're running across XRPL. They're running across Stellar. They're running across HBAR, right? And if the supervisory bodies are going to be using stablecoins in a very, very impactful way, if they actually go through with that, then it is definitely money as you know it, as we know it. And the prices of those bank coins are going to be, they're going to go up. They're going to go up. Let's just put it that way. They're going to go up. It says, but it can be an alternative to gold and its value. Must be talking about Bitcoin. There's no way. The other big challenge is volatility. The volatility is negated because you can buy fractional pieces. Now, you don't have to buy fractional pieces. Actually, if all of the banks were to buy all of that particular crypto, they could stabilize it themselves. They can choose upon agreement. They can choose upon agreement a specified price and say, this is where we're going to stabilize everything. And as they put their money into it, ensure that that level is always maintained of what they have to put in to stabilize the price. And that will be it. They could also, if they wanted to, they can enact, you must not have read the Bank of International Settlements documents. I know you didn't, because they propose staking. There isn't a person in this world, I would think, that's rational that wouldn't stake with the banks knowing what it's going to do to that price. All right. Then, and so there wouldn't be volatility like what happens with Bitcoin. There's a myriad of different strategies to stabilize that price. Like I said, outright, just buy everything all up. And the people would gladly sell if the banks offered a nice enough price for these particular protocol, right? So that would take the volatility away. And then, like I said, you can have a specified price based upon agreement. Just think of like the same thing they do with SDRs. They could do the same thing with the bank coins if they bought all of them up, and the banks have enough money to buy all of the bank coins and more. But they could do that and then stabilize the price wherever they wanted to once it's theirs. So they can do that. That's a possibility. Let's say it's going to happen. It's a possibility, all right? Then also you have, like I said, the banks buy up all that they can. It's going to raise the price to a certain level, right? That's going to negate a massive amount of volatility. So they raise the price up to where they deem it suitable or viable. And then they introduce staking. Everyone says, okay, we're going to stake. Listen, let me tell you something. If majority of people are staking with the banks, by the way, everyone, that's not just talk. That was in a Bank of International Settlements document, which a lot of my people on the channel downloaded. And they had a graph to show you, and they had an entire paragraph explaining the logic behind that, all right, which the people also have, which was in a video that we did on the channel. But as the people are staking, also that's going to bring even more stability to the prices of these particular things, right? So I don't think you would see, as you said, gold. Yeah, I think they can stabilize things in a very rational way. I don't understand where this is coming from, but let's continue on here. It says, if you want to use this to pay for something, you don't know what it's costing you. This, once again, like I said, they have ways of stabilizing things. Like they're using SDRs right now. Is there a problem with that? No, right? There's no problem with SDRs. once you have acquired something, or you have acquired control, at the least control of these different things. Now, I'm only speaking for the bank coins. I'm only speaking for the bank coins. And why? Because I firmly believe that most of those other crypto will be regulated out of existence. They will be regulated out of existence. Most of crypto will go away once regulation comes into play. All right. So I'm not talking about those speculative coins and those quick money plays, rug pulls, scam coins. They will go away. I'm only speaking for the bank coins, which is really who I would think that you would be talking about directly, and not just looking at things like, let's say, for example, Bitcoin. Like, no, like for what? Bitcoin is not made to be a bank coin. It's not a cryptocurrency rail. It's just a store of value. And it did a good job for as antiquated as it is. It did its job pretty well, in my humble opinion. But let's continue on here. If you want to use this to pay for something, you don't know what it's costing you. Today, cryptos are a potential source of speculated value. That's until utility kicks in. There are utility coins. Once again, it seems like you didn't sit in a lot of briefings as of late. Utility coins will be used for certain things, settlement, liquidity, and you will need them. The business institutions, everyone will take those things over. Different utility coins will be used for different things. So you have like VeChain for traceability. Then you have like Stellar for liquidity. You have XRP for liquidity. You have settlement tokens, things like that, smart contract offerings. They're all interoperable, right? As far as the bank coins are concerned, let's just put other utility coins to the side for a moment. All interoperable, operating as one massive system. One system. That's what interoperability does. All right. So it's just up to the banks, the central banks, by the way. Let me just put this on them, because I don't even want to address the commercial banks, because it seems like you guys really don't know what's going on. You're a little bit rebellious. You're a little bit rebellious. Okay. The central banks, it's up to them how they want to decide to go about these things. There's a bevy of ways to stabilize those prices when it comes to the bank coins. And the volatility will not be there with certain bank coins, because people will be priced out of them, depending, like I said, if it depends on how the banks choose to use them. If the banks start buying up all of those bank coins to use in an SDR-like fashion, an updated, more advanced SDR-like fashion, or to use as for interbank payments, right, like SDRs, but to use for central bank digital currencies or infrastructure, stuff like that, they could buy everything in sight. And that's going to raise that price up where most of the people in the world are going to be priced out of there. So the volatility will be very, very little. Then keep in mind, like I said before, even though I know a lot of these big organizations don't like to buy pieces of anything. They like to have an entirety. They like to have a whole, okay? Even with that being said, there is still a possibility that you can buy fractional pieces. So yeah, your dollar would be a dollar. So it just matters whether they want to. They love the idea of stablecoins. So it's just a matter of, if you want to take these advanced protocols and stabilize their prices at whatever rate you want to, so that the volatility will be negated, and you take them out of the hands of anybody who is a retail investor that could, you know, throw a wave of volatility in there. You can definitely negate the volatility if they really want to. Just a matter of how far they want to go with that, and what future offerings the NBFIs are going to bring to the table to address something like this that you're using against a lot of the crypto industry. But all of the crypto industry should not be lumped into one basket altogether. Let's continue on here. According to Gupta, one of the use cases of a CBDC is the disintermediation in the banking sector. However, he added that CBDCs also have their challenges. But if you go direct, every citizen opens a direct account with the central bank, and it disperses the CBDC directly. Well, you know, I think it was the IMF document recently was saying that they would rather just the commercial banks do these type of things. And I don't know, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I believe they also said the fintechs could also assist in this, or non-banking financial institutions could assist in this. They don't need to do it directly. They have options on the table. They definitely do. Let's continue on here. The downside of this is it will disintermediate the existing bank system. Therefore, you make the credit like I said, they're already saying that they would go through others. They wouldn't do it directly. And they already took note of the different downfalls of doing it directly. Sir, you need to read some of these PDFs and documents. And have your advisor read them and then come and give you a briefing like every week, every 2 weeks. Trust me on this, you'll be well informed because the IMF has been answering the things that you're saying right here. And the Bank of International Settlements has answered these long ago. But let's continue on here. It says eventually, did we jump ahead? Okay, it says, therefore, you make the credit creation the onus and responsibility of the central bank alone. And they don't want that. I just said that. They already put out their ideas of how to circumvent those particular issues, right? So eventually, when most global central banks introduced their respective CBDCs as a form of fiat currency, this added another use case for digital assets. He went on to say, digital money will come. Some geographies will try retail CBDC, but I feel there is a far greater use case of wholesale CBDCs, especially cross-border. Financial institutions and monetary regulators should look at ways to explore and harness the potential of blockchain technology, he said. Okay, so now you're getting a little bit bullish. Let's see where this goes. At the root of crypto or CBDC is blockchain, which lets you establish trust without a hub in the middle. Recognizing that the technology has the power to change the notion of a hub and spoke model to a distributed model, that's a very important concept. Yes, it is. I agree with that. MAS ponders crypto rules. Last week, the MAS said, Monetary Authority of Singapore, said it would announce new oversight and guidelines in cryptocurrency trading. MAS has consistently warned the public that investing in cryptocurrency is highly risky. Everything is risky. Carrying cash on you is risky. Credit cards, all that debt people are racking up is risky. Everything's risky. These people are not the mindless individuals that you portray them to be. And, the banks, they love to portray themselves as these parent figures that come out of nowhere and just, we're going to protect you. Protect them, or are you protecting yourself? Because you're very risky. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, banks had a ton of outages. And people couldn't get their money for days, weeks, correct? Right? That's a fact. There's news articles written everywhere. Okay, recently, they had a lot of different bank runs going on and people couldn't access their money. Facts, right? That's correct. News articles are written about that everywhere. Is it a fact also that banks have been getting hacked and attacked all over the world, and then there's different data that has leaked out? It doesn't necessarily result in people getting their money taken out of their account, but their data and their identities and everything else attached to that can be taken, put on the dark web, and people can take loans out and things like that in their name. Is that a fact? Yes, it is. So it sounds to me like banking is very risky as well. So what I'm saying, everything is a risk in life, but you like to wield that against others. But I think those who are wise can understand how you're trying to use that information. Good try, but it doesn't work over here. But let's continue on here, all right? Let's skip this little piece here. Some jurisdictions have also taken measures concerning advertising by crypto firms. When there's regulatory clarity in the United States, there's going to be mass advertising by proper protocol. Above board, regulatory compliant bank coins will dominate. No one will be able to stand against them. And I can assure you, this will spread out to the rest of the world. Don't get me wrong. There's parts of the world already that are much more crypto friendly than the United States, and much more crypto friendly than the United States. But any who have a doubt about the bank coins in particular, the ones that are doing well with the United States government, they will acquiesce to allowing those advertisements to happen. They will welcome it, by the way. And then once those bank coins are openly getting the nod of approval from the United States government, everyone else will want to use them even more. I'm talking about on every level, because we already know the banks are in there and they definitely want a piece of that, and they're going to have their piece. But a lot of other entities will want to be using them as well. And they will come to the table and things will be worked out so that they can be used. Now, with all of that taken into account, what does it do to that price to have all of this activity going on? So this is very good. We have them thinking now. They can't deny it anymore. And so what's happening is, to close everything out, the central banks are sort of coming to one accord now. They have a very leveled understanding across the board. It's just a matter, and I've been saying this for months, it's just a matter of bringing in all of these commercial banks. That's it. And there's a large amount of commercial banks that have the great understanding about the bank coins and blockchain. There's a few rogues, though. There's a few rogue banks. And they come out every once in a while. They say some very ignorant things, try to throw FUD out there, and they try to resist. It's just resistance. They are a part of that legacy system. Just about bringing them in. And I can assure you that they will be brought in my humble opinion, right? Because they're going to feel that pressure from the Bank of International Settlements, IMF, AMFIF, World Bank, World Economic Forum. They cannot deny the new age that is about to come. New financial system. What does it do to that price to have stable coins moving across your blockchain en masse, clogging it up, causing all types of congestion? Surge pricing. So then you get priority when it comes to higher transaction values. So you have higher transaction values moving across it. So then you may also have the tokenization of real estate in mass moving across these particular bank coins. So they're going to be the best of the best. Who are you going to trust more than XRP, XLM, Hedera with Google on their board, Boeing, FIS, Algorand? Who are you going to trust more than them? No one. Okay, when we're talking about large business institutions and et cetera, no one. They're going to trust them. You have all of that moving across your blockchain, including interbank payments and such like that, payroll. Come on now. What does it do to that price? Can we get a razor toe just to end everything off? Razor toe. That price is going to raise. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. No asesoramiento financiero. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to be. Now, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm supposed to bring this video to a close, right? Oh, that's what I was going to say. So tomorrow, over the next 2 days, I have a members only video I will be putting together and dropping out. So look forward to that. I just put out a link. Okay, there's a link on the members only tab to a video I am watching and taking notes. I have my notepad out again, taking notes, and we're going to be going over that video. Okay, so if you have the time, give that a watch. It's over in the members only section. Give that video a watch. We're going to be going over it. It's just one piece of what I'm going to be putting together in this series of videos to come this week in the members only section. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.